What do these random household items have in common, you ask? Well, stick around and see how you can use them in art. Now, let's dive in. Welcome, SeaRoxxers. Well, before we can use those household items, we need a board, a design, and some air dry clay. I went ahead and numbered my layers so I didn't lose them once I cut them out, as well as transfer my design to my board. Okay, housekeeping done. Let's get to the fun part, playing with the clay. So all those random household items are going to come in handy. I am going to first use this packing paper, and we're going to imprint the clay with the packing paper, just using a rolling pin. You can use whatever kind of rolling pin, and you can use whatever you want to imprint your clay with. Just have fun with it. Next step was to take the section number 1, or whatever section you're using it for. In this case, it's number 1, and I'm just cutting it out with an X-Acto style knife. And this will go in the number 1 spot on the board. All right, let's get that first piece of clay on here. You can see how helpful it was to transfer that pattern because it'll keep things from getting too wonky. I also made this piece a little bigger so it overlapped the edge. That way I could cut it flush, and I knew that that line was going to be straight no matter what. Item number 2, up and ready, is bubble wrap. Bubble wrap was actually one of my favorite design transfers that I played with for this project. I will say that my bubble wrap was a little too squishy, the little bubbles weren't quite as firm, and so it took a lot of pressure, and finally I just had to squish them in with my fingers to get the imprints that I wanted. But again, we're going to repeat the process actually 8 times. Lay your pattern down, cut it out, and then put it on your board. But this next part I'm going to show you, I'm going to do something a little different to marry the pieces together. But once you get your piece on there, just trim up the sides. Your clay will shrink a little bit, but it shouldn't be a problem. So here's where I married the two together. I didn't want that raw edge because I knew that eventually there were going to be cracks in there anyway. So I went ahead and just used this little clay tool that made kind of an indent. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but this worked for me, and I already had an idea that I was going to fill that in with some gold accent. So this just enhanced the design. On to item number 3, rubber bands. I took the rubber bands and I just wrapped them around the rolling pin itself and kind of overlap them so there's some sort of design to it. And it made actually a really cool effect. And the more you rearrange your rubber bands, the different your design would be. If you're enjoying today's video so far, please splash that like button, click the bell. That way you're never going to miss a video. Now your lines may not be perfect, kind of like the problem I had here, and I just had to fill in some gaps where the two pieces came together. Item number 4 is a clay tool. It's just a little kind of a scallop design. And I just kind of went for it, and it ended up making kind of like an ocean wave. And I actually liked this one. This one was a real pretty effect, especially once it was painted. Item number 5 is cheesecloth. Because I like that bubble wrap, I decided to double up on a couple of the items. And so bubble wrap is number 6. And I tried it this way. Yeah, it didn't work any better necessarily. Well, lucky number 7 item is ball chain, and this was my favorite. Most definitely. Not only was it satisfying to do, the effect was so cool. I really enjoyed it. I would do a project just with the ball chain and clay. I mean, look how cool this turned out. Oh, look at that random design. Love it. And item number 8 is a repeat on our kind of scalloping clay tool. Once I got this final piece in place, it was time to hurry up and be patient and wait until it was completely dried. Now, once it was dry, the only cracks I had were where the pieces came together. And I went ahead and created some slip and added more clay, and then had to let that dry as well. And once that was all dry and everything was ready, then it was time to prime it with some gesso and start painting. Now, because this was clay, I didn't want extra water sitting on top of it and causing any issues. So when I painted this, and I'm new to working with clay, so if anybody out there wants to correct me or advise me or whatever, anyway, I went ahead and blotted up the extra paint that I didn't want, and I used a hairdryer or a heat gun to dry things up in between time. Basically, no puddles. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. That way we can grow in art together. Last but not least, I added some gold accents. Time to create the golden sky for our seascape. Now, this technique is one that I saw another YouTube artist, abstract artist use, Victor Baroni, and he is incredibly awesome. What a fabulous artist. But anyway, so what he does is when he uses gold foil on some of his pieces, he puts a gold paint down and then the gold foil on top of that, and uses that as the adhesive. So you get kind of this variegated look of your gold. It's not just solid gold foil. So I love that idea, and that's what I'm going to attempt here. If you try this technique, just make sure you give your paint enough time to dry, because it's not like the regular gluey adhesives that come with gold foil. I will also say that I had a little challenge as I brushed off the pixie dust, as I like to call it, in this project. So if you recall, I had my white primer and then my gold paint, and then the foil right on top. If I was to do this again, I would have my white primer, I would do one full layer of gold paint. Then, once that's dried, I would go in and do a second layer of gold paint, which I would then put my gold foil on, because I got, as you can see right there, white spots where things didn't stick quite as well. And if I had had that layer of gold paint on there, it wouldn't have mattered. So I did have to go in and fix things quite a few times to my liking, so that it came out the way I expected it to be. The white spot is only because I missed it with the gold paint. It's not because things lifted. But overall, I absolutely love this technique. I love the look, and I think it has so much potential to go even further. Once I got all those things fixed, it's time to seal this thing up, ready for its reveal. I'm using Arteza's acrylic varnish in satin. And if you've made it this far, our reveal is next, so don't go anywhere. Here's our outside reveal, and isn't that gold unique? Kind of a vintage feel to it, and the beautiful blues with the gold accents, and I am in love with the bubble wrap kind of spots and things. Oh, I'm very pleased with this piece. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed yourself and perhaps that you'll be inspired to try something new like I did with the gold. I invite you to join the SeaRoxx family. Like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell. You never miss a video that way. And don't forget you can follow me on my other social media platforms, visit my website, and my Etsy shop. Thanks for watching. Until next time, go beach or go home.